Hello and welcome to this webinar brought to you by OpenApp. In today's webinar, we'll be discussing the multi-level rule-based security and access rights. In today's webinar, we might be touching a lot of security issues and the boundaries that we built within the application of the CPMS to ensure that there's no any compromise to the data protection when the patient is shared from the hospital with the rest of the ERN or even across ERN. The accounts that I will be using today are demo accounts through the training environment of the CPMS. So I will be logging into the system today as Dr. 1. And I will be enrolling a patient and opening a panel, and I show you a different activities that ensure the security boundaries that was built in the application. So if I go to my center or my hospital and start with one of the first activities we are addressing in today's webinar is to enroll a patient. So I will be prompted with a message in red says that all authorized users from this center can see all patients enrolled within this center regards the enrolling user. And the idea of having this logic here is if in real life people or health professionals from one hospital can access all the patient records belong to this hospital. So we associate each patient to belong to one hospital as the legal entity organization that can provide care and services for this patient. That's why all users from this hospital should be able to see the patient record and all the panels conducted on this particular patient. So it's not dependent only on one user in this hospital to modify the patient information or even to monitor any of the interaction in panels. I will enroll this patient here, just enter some demo data, give a consent, and this is our webinar today about the access rights, and I enroll this patient in my hospital. So I can see back here when I click on the enrollment, I can see all the information on this patient, when they were enrolled, the date of the consent, and when the data collection started. And this is the CPMS ID. And I can see from the dashboard of my center all the patients belong to this center. So we have here 32 patients were enrolled through this hospital in Strasbourg in France. So from this hospital, we got 32 patients, no matter who enrolled this patient. So this is the list of the patient I have. Let's see the last patient that I just enrolled, rights, access rights, and I can go to the enrollment form. In the enrollment form, there is also another right that given to any health professional in this center is to wipe this patient data. So they can delete the patient record if needed, or if the patient withdraws a consent for care, which is the minimum required consent for patient to be on the CPMS. And the reason why we are giving this right to everyone in this hospital or in this center is because some health professional might enroll patient and then move to another hospital. So there must be someone from this center or this hospital to change the enrollment form for this patient, or even to wipe the patient data if the patient requested that. So I can go and wipe the patient data, and I confirm that I understand that this is my responsibility to notify the patient that their data has been cleared down. And then I can specify if this was a request from a patient or this is an action done by the health professional. And if the patient give request already for that, then I record the date of the request. If no, I have to mention the reason why I'm deleting the patient record. So I would say the patient, for instance, withdraw the consent for care, for instance, and then I wipe the patient record. And now I have 31 patients in this hospital. One more thing here is the panels within an ERN center who has an access to these panels. So on the left hand side, if you can see here, this is the dashboard. Here we can enroll a patient. Here we see the patient list for all patients belong to this center. And here are all the panels running on all patients from this center, no matter which ERN. So here I can see these are the panels on this center patients. I can see who is the lead. I can see to which ERNs we refer to, if it's ERNI or it might be different as well, and in which systematic area in the current workflow of each panel. So now I logged in as Dr. 3. So let's go here and pick one of the patients. So let's say I go very quickly and enroll a patient again because I deleted the one I just created. Okay. So I will go and open a panel for this patient. Let's say the name of this patient is Peter. And this is like webinar training. And just fill some demo data. So the consultation request, as may you know, that this is the minimum amount of data required to start a consultation with other people from your ERN. So I save the form, and now I got some information on the left hand side. This is a timeline that captures all the interactions and communication with ERN members. And then I drive the workflow to the next stage, for instance. So now I'm the Dr. 1, I'm the lead of this panel. I go here and I will invite some people from my ERN. So I will be switching users here in this webinar, but what I really want to point out here is that we have implemented enough security rules and access rights that guarantee a very high level of data protection and the identification of the patient data when you refer your patient from your center or your hospital and share it with your ERN members. So just if you know, I just not to confuse you sometimes between switching user and switching screens. Let's say here I will go and invite Dr. 2 and Dr. 3 and Dr. 4, for instance. Okay, and I can go here and I can assign any of them to be as a panel lead if I'm not competent enough or I might be busy and need someone else to take care of my panel. Okay, so you can switch the leadership with someone else. And just to let you know that Dr. 2 is a health professional. He's a ophthalmologist from the same ERN from different center. And I will switch now to another screen and show you that. So now I will go and log in as Dr. 2 and check the invitations I got from Dr. 1, and we are both working in the same ERN, ERNI, but we are working in different centers. So Dr. 1 works in France and Dr. 2 okay. So I log in here as Dr. 2 and I certified I'm a doctor and I comply with the professional conduct, and then I go to my ERN dashboard and I can see here that there's a panel invitation for this patient and his name is Peter, and I would decide if I should accept or refuse the invitation that I got from Dr. 1. It says here Dr. 1 invited Dr. 2 and Dr. 3 and Dr. 4 to join the panel. So I will accept here. Okay, and I can see also who is invited, and I definitely can see me here as accepted, and I can change it to refuse if needed. I switch back now to Dr. 1, okay, and just refresh the screen now. I can see here that I am Dr. 1, I am the lead, and Dr. 2 here has accepted the invitation. Let's say that also the rest of the people I invited, like Dr. 3 has accepted, and Dr. 4 also accepted the invitation. Okay, and I drive the workflow forward to the data completion. If you see here, I got an access to edit the form because I am the lead and I work for this center who enrolled the patient. But if I switch screen now and I go to Dr. 2, and let's see Dr. 2 here, let's see where Dr. 2 works. And then Dr. 2 works in Germany, in Tübingen University Hospital. So he shouldn't have an access to edit the form. He only should have an access to access the timeline and the clinical data, but he shouldn't be able to see the form. So as you may see here, there is no edit button on the screen for Dr. 2 because he's not part of this center who enrolled the patient. But if I go to Dr. 1, I can see the edit button appearing on the screen. And also Dr. 4, just for your information, he works in the same hospital in France as Dr. 1. So I will log in now to the system as Dr. 4, and let's see what I will have on my screen. So I logged into the system as Dr. 4 here, and I will go to my center and check the panels I have for patients in this center, and I should see Peter somewhere. So this guy, which panel we have here? So this is the panel we have. It's 452 for Peter. So I can go here and check 453 for 452 for Peter. So it's here. I can click here and get an access to the panel, or I can go to the ERN dashboard and look at the panels where I am contributing and go to this panel. And you will see here on the screen that Dr. 4 is in the same center as Dr. 1 who enrolled the patient. They both work on France in Strasbourg University Hospital. That's why they can get an access to edit the form and provide more information. So the edit button here to enter more data on the patient consultation form is available for Dr. 4 and Dr. 1. So it's only available for people in the same center, but it's not available, for instance, for Dr. 2. As you may see here there is no edit button here, there is no next button here on the workflow, but it appears for Dr. 4 and Dr. 1. So they get the privilege to edit the consultation form or also drive the workflow forward. However, the difference between Dr. 1 and Dr. 4, when they drive the workflow forward, that Dr. 4 is not the panel lead, so he cannot write the outcome and sign it off. So that will be only available for Dr. 1. So let's now drive the workflow forward and find out more about these stages. Okay, so now I drive the workflow as Dr. 1, but I also can drive it as Dr. 4 if I want. So I can go here and drive it forward to the outcome. And as Dr. 1, he's the only one who can sign off the outcome. So let's say now we are in sign off stage. Dr. 4 can no longer drive the workflow anymore, but it's only available for Dr. 1 as he's the panel lead. So this is Dr. 4. He just can record something in the outcome, but he cannot sign it off. But if we go to Dr. 4, he gets the button here of sign off an outcome. So the lead is exclusively privileged to write the outcome, to sign off the outcome. However, people from the same center, health professionals from the same hospital, can write the outcome. Let's go and check what Dr. 2 can see here. So Dr. 2 is a member of the same ERN, but they are not part of the center where the lead and Dr. 4 works. So they can only write something in the outcome and give some comments, but they cannot sign it off. And they cannot also make any actions on the workflow. So this is one of the access rights that we implemented on the workflow and editing the consultation form. Further to that, we have the ERN dispatcher rule. So if I go now and access the system as Dr. 3, for instance. So Dr. 3 is a coordinator, and he is ERN dispatcher in the center in this ERN. So if I go to ERNI, I will get the request inbox, and this shows all the incoming requests for assistance from ERN members or from even external guest health professional who works for hospitals that are not part of any ERN. And those people might require assistance to assign a lead or invite people to their panel. So this panel was created by Dr. 1 as a lead, and I am Dr. 3, and let's say Dr. 1 needs assistance from the ERN coordinator. So Dr. 3 can go here as a coordinator and invite people to this panel, or they can also go and invite guest members from other ERNs if needed. So they can go to, I'm in ERNI, but I can go, let's say, to ERN Bond and look for experts here and invite them. So this is the job of the ERN coordinator and the ERN dispatcher. So I can see here that I invited some people from another ERN here, as you may see. One of the access rights that we applied also into the CPMS and that had an impact on the list of people you can see here when you want to invite panel members into your panel is the drop-down menu here shows a number of options, either that you show people interested in your ERN, or you show people interested in one or more of the thematic areas within your ERN. And this is actually done when the user goes to their preferences and hit some boxes here based on their interest or expertise. And the box that they tick here implies that they are interested in these thematic areas and make their names available when there is a panel and the panel lead is forming a panel member, and they can be invited. Can we as a development company see any identifying data? I will answer this question very shortly, but I will log into the system as a system administrator and make you sure that we do not see any identifying data. It's all hashed and encrypted. So here I logged into the system as a system administrator, and I can see a number of hospitals here. And let's say I will go to AB House, Austria, and I cannot enroll any patient. And let's say I want to go to one of the patients from the list here. As you may see on the screen, I can see none of the identifying data for any of the patients. They are all hashed. And if I go to the enrollment form, they are all hashed. Here is identifying data. And this is just to let you know that there is no any data discrepancy in the CPMS, and no one who's not authorized to see identifying data can see any identifying data. One of the things also that I would like to mention in today's webinar is the guest virtual center. as a guest or external healthcare provider working in a hospital that's not part of any ERN, uh, what happens when I request assistance from an ERN and enroll a patient? So I will show this very shortly. So I will log into the system as a guest user. Okay. And I will go to the guest virtual center as I don't work in any hospital that's part of any ERN, and go and enroll my patient, for instance, give consent for my patient, and then guest doctor just for this webinar. And I open a panel, assistance, let's say, and let's say I am doctor guest. Okay, and I will seek assistance from ERNI. Okay, and I select systematic area, and then I save the form. Let's say I have provided all the information needed on the left hand side, and then when I drive the workflow forward and click next, on the screen here it says that I am guest healthcare provider in this system, and once I transition the workflow forward, the ARN coordinator will be notified and appoint a panel lead, because we do not give an access to external health profession to be a panel lead, but automatically they can be part of the panel, so they can also participate actively and monitor all the changes on their patient. But the ERN coordinator will be assigning a lead here. So I will switch the screen and access the system as a panel lead, as a ERN coordinator. And go to my ERN dashboard here, and I can see a request coming from a guest virtual center, and this is guest to ERN. This is the external user, and then I invite, let's say, Dr. 1, and then I assign him to be the lead. Okay, once I refresh here, I can see Dr. 1 became a lead. And let's access the system as Dr. 1 here. If I go to my ERN dashboard, okay, I will get some notification in my task list here. It says you have been assigned the lead role to this panel. So if I click here, I can see now the notification that I became the lead for this panel, and I see the interaction here that they are in assistance has invited me and appointed me as a lead in this panel. And I can see the guest or the external health professional part of their end, and I am the only one who gets the next button here in the workflow, so I can drive the workflow forward to the data completion, but neither of the ERN of the guest professional or the ERN coordinator will have this privilege, because I am the lead of this panel and I am the only one who has the privilege to drive the workflow and take responsibility for that. To this end, we have covered a lot of the access rights implemented in the system, but the main objective of having this webinar, switching screens, and switching between many users, is just to ensure and reassure you that there is no any access rights misdeveloped, and there is a logic behind every rule in the system, the functional rule and the administrative rule. Thank you very much for attending this webinar, and please, if you have any requests or complaints or any issue, please write to the support team and we'll be gladly answering your question. Thank you very much, and have a good day.